Welcome back to Let's Play Miles Edgeworth Investigations. I'm Luigi Van 64T. Shall we continue? Oh gosh. Count off! 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Shifu, 99 callouts. All 99 members are most likely here to count for, sir. Hey you! Yeah, you, the second number one from my right. Sir, yes sir! Here, a birthday present for you. What? Shifu, I didn't know that you knew all of our birthdays. What a kind heart you have. Shifu, you are more of a man than we'll ever be, sir. I'm really sorry, but it's not my birthday. Longzi says, the cub who disrespects others soon feels the disciplinary bite of an elder. That present isn't for you. It's for your younger brother's wife's younger brother. Tell him I said hi and happy birthday, won't you? Yes, sir! Shifu, I can't believe you remember that much about each of us. Shifu, I'm so moved that I can't stop crying. Oh, for the love of... I should probably leave them to their alone time. That meeting's over. Everyone, head for your posts. Dismissed! Yes, sir! Yo, were you guys there the whole time? I got a call from Sheena and she already filled me in. It sounds like you're out to get in my way again. I have absolutely no intention of interrupting your investigation. I simply request that you grant me permission to investigate the Alabastian embassy. And what if I say no? Objection! Agent Lang, this man is my subordinate. As I have received permission from the ambassador, he is to be extended the same rights. Sorry sis, but it's not that simple. Alabasta has the strictest immigration regulation in the world, or didn't you know? Even among my elite men, only about half of them are admitted to the country. Besides, any more cooks in the kitchen and we might spoil the soup, if you get what I mean. How dare you make such assumptions! Don't take this the wrong way, but I thought I was in charge of Alabast, Miss Von Karma. Look, try to understand, okay? Things over in Alabast are a bit of a mess right now. What do you mean by a bit of a mess? No one told you? Yeah, it is in Alabast as well. This is what we call a decision based on the investigation, Mr. Prosecutor. Look, Wolfie, just let us in already. Oh. Is there a problem here, Agent Lang? Not really, just having a discussion about whether or not to let these guys in. Ambassador Alba, I ask that you please allow these people to join the investigation. Having a debate because of my country. I am terribly sorry for placing you good people in this kind of situation. Is it all because I lacked the strength to govern well? Please, there's nothing of the sort, Ambassador. You weakling, curse your frailty and ability to effect change in your country! What are you... The thing is, investigations conducted in my country have been under Agent Lang. And it is my judgment that in order to minimize disruption in the investigation, I should leave everything up to Agent Lang. There, you see? No way! Hold it. Ambassador Alba, I ask that you please reconsider letting them into Alabast. What's that? My very own secretary has been murdered in the Ablaze embassy. And he was apparently caught up in some very shady dealings completely unbeknownst to me. So I ask you for your cooperation in our investigation. These aren't much, but I hope they can cover your travel expenses to Babal someday. Alright, I get it. Even if you beg Ambassador Alba, I still have to make the final okay, or anyway. Oh right! Hear that, Mr. Edgeworth? Win! Not so fast, my little crow girl. You're still a witness of the Babal murder. So I'd like you to please stay in the Republic of Babal. Detective Gumshoe, please take good care of Kay for me. Yes, sir. Sounds good to me. Fewer troublemakers, the better. Very professional, you two. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? So I wanted to ask you for a while now, but that lady over there, is she who I think she is? Ah, that's right. I didn't introduce the two of you yet. Francisca von Karma, the prosecutorial prodigy. It's nice to see you again. I knew it! You're the whip lady! You may address me as Miss Von Karma. Miss Von Karma, I leave the investigation in Alabasta in your hands. Thanks. Rest assured, I'll outsmart both the smuggling ring and the Atagarasu. The smuggling ring, huh? Perhaps I should ask Francisca a bit more about them before I head into Alabasta. And I also forget to thank Ambassador Peleno for all that he has done for me. Before I forget, no less. Ambassador Peleno, I am in your debt. Oh, no, it's nothing. Because it's about all I can do for you, I'm afraid. I only ask that you please bring Manny's killer to justice. I will, Ambassador. On my honor. Wow, you're so sensational! You really piqued my curiosity. I know they aren't much, but I know that I'm giving them with you wholeheartedly. No, that's quite alright. Oh, well, how about this then? Oh. And what exactly is it? It's fountain pen ink. Known as Ablaze ink, it's made exclusively in Babal. So this is Ablaze ink. We make it from witch crystal oil, which is mined through our mineral mines. Please accept this ink. One dip of your fountain pen in this, and you can write for hours in your organizer. How fortunate for me! The ink in my pen just happened to have run out. I gladly accept this gracious gift. Great! Wonderful! I guarantee to you that writing in our ink is an unforgettable experience. And since we don't export it, if you run out, you're always welcome to come and visit our foundation. Talk about cornering the customer along with the market. Huh. Now then. You've made so much progress in your investigation in such a short period of time. It's truly amazing. Agent Hicks, whose help I had requested, was cut down before he completed his task. There's no room for further failure in my perfect investigation. In spite of that, I believe you were able to obtain some insight into the ring, correct? It was nothing. I simply made some deductions based on the smuggling item I was following. You mean the Ablaze ink? But why are there restrictions on the export of Ablaze ink to begin with? It's classified Interpol info... Francisca! As your subordinate, I am part of your investigation now. Don't you think it would be beneficial if I was as well-informed as you? Point taken. Very well, I'll fill you in. Recently, we discovered some very well-made counterfeit bills circulating in Zhangfa. Counterfeit bills? Yes, as you may have deduced. The counterfeits are being made with Babal's special Ablaze ink. And it's virtually impossible to distinguish bills made with Ablaze ink from the real ones. Thus, it was only natural for Interpol to keep an eye on the Republic of Babal. That's where this document comes into play, correct? Correct. Mr. Cochin was smuggling large amounts of the Ablaze ink. Furthermore, he was charged with running the embassy's printing equipment. That's all the more evidence I need to know that he was the head of the smuggling ring. However, there remains one tiny problem. Let me guess. You still have yet to find the counterfeit bills or the smuggled ink. Yes, and while we're listing things, I might as well add the counterfeiting plates to the pile. Since we haven't been able to locate any of these items at the Ablaze embassy, we're looking into the Alabastian embassy next. It doesn't matter where they're hidden. Mark my words, I will find them. I'll have to make a note of that. Well, shall we get going? What now? What is wrong, Kay? I didn't get permission to enter Alabasta. So we're going to go gather whatever info we can over the Ablaze side, okay? Alright, I'm counting on you two. Right, I'm counting on you, Miss Von Carmen, to sniff out clues in Alabast. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, if you happen to come across my phony, let me know, okay? If you tell me, I'll rush over straight away no matter where you are. You can only do so much given the boundary, given the border, but I'll let you know when the time comes. Interesting decorations. Ah! What do you think you're doing to my subordinate? You're Edgy! Oh, thank the heavens you're here! I'm in a really, really big pickle, your lordship! The raven, it appeared, poof, and then disappeared, swoosh! And though I am the steel samurai, my sword, it... I'm so confused, I don't know what's fun anymore! Who is this fruitcake? I'm Larry of the House of Butts, married man of Neo Old Tokyo, milady. Oh, now I remember. This person is one of your friends, isn't he, Miles? Yes, frighteningly so. He is. Hey, what's up with that answer? Your best bud is in a bind, you act like it's no big deal. What sort of bind are we talking about here? A suspect kind. I accidentally became a suspect in a murder. I see. This is quite a bind. Not that we're in the least bit surprised. Yes, I pretty much expected this news. From the instant I saw this unlucky face. His name is Larry Butts. I've known him since grade school, and for as long as I've known him, he has been the world's largest source of trouble with a capital T. Hey, what kind of introduction is that? You're so mean, Edgy. If you're not careful, you might find your tiny number of friends go down by one. That was uncalled for. Besides, you're... Wait, hold on. Larry! It was you? You're the one who wrote my Steel Samurai autograph? Huh? Oh, you didn't notice earlier? I even winked at you through my headpiece. What's going on? And why are you beet red? Sorry, but could you not speak to me right now? Oh, sorry. Am I interrupting your comical yet melodramatic play? So this is the incident you mentioned earlier? Mr. Prosecutor, this man, this childhood friend of yours, is our prime suspect. Of what, you ask? Of the murder of a man who had snuck into the embassy. Master Mask the Second. Master Mask the Second? Oh! Only Larry could get himself into yet another mess as fine as this. But no matter what the facts seem to say, Larry is not the type to commit murder. Still, it's a rather daunting stroke of misfortune I've struck. I have to prove that Larry Butts is innocent of all wrongdoing. At least regarding this incident. Shifu, we've identified the victim. Good work. I'll take the report now. Agent Lang, would you mind if I take a peek at it as well? What did I tell you earlier, Mr. Prosecutor? Don't get in my way. There's only enough flesh here to feed one wolf, and that one is me. So no, you may not take a peek. But Agent Lang... Hold it. Agent Lang, will you allow an investigator such as myself to take a look? Ah, yes, of course. Let the detective see the file. You're Detective Bad. You're Prosecutor Mr. Edgeworth, right? Fancy meeting you here, Detective. You weren't expecting me. Ever since that day 7 years ago, I've chased after the Yatagarasu non-stop. I even pressured Interpol into keeping me in the loop in case a card was ever found. What incredible dedication to the case. Detective Bad knows Yatagarasu's MO very well, and his passion for the chase hasn't died down in these 7 long years. It's something I can respect. But Detective Bad, I must ask, are you going to make an ally out of this prosecutor? My only goal is to arrest the Yatagarasu. If he can get to the bottom of this case, then I'm willing to share info with him. I'm in your debt, Detective Bad. About the murder of Damask II, would you be willing to fill me in on a few of the details? When the Yatagarasu showed up, Agent Lang and I took ourselves off guard duty and put ourselves in charge of directing things at this crime scene. Taking advantage of the chaos, Damascus second, he broke into the embassy. Probably to steal some treasure or another. I suppose he lost his life when he was forced to fight someone else in this room. What can you tell me about that? Why exactly was that man placed under arrest, Detective? That samurai? He was born looking suspicious, but not for the reasons you suspect, I assure you. As you can plainly see, he is completely harmless. Well, it's just a random guess. It's not like he's actually under arrest. Tonight, you're the Alabastian Embassy. Ambassador Alba was to give a commemorative speech. And that's when Yatagarasu showed. But keep in mind, Yatagarasu isn't who I'm talking about right now. Those seats for the guests who had been called to sit in with them were empty. A no-show? Who was it that failed to take their seat? The Steel Samurai. Until the speech was about to begin, each member of the entire Steel Samurai family was to wait in a separate room. And for some weird reason, that man was spotted in a different location than his assigned room at that time. And where was he? He was on the roof with one of his legs down the chimney. That chimney leads directly into this room. Larry Butts, you really outdone yourself this time. What were you thinking? In any case, I believe it's high time for me to start my investigation. Oh my goodness, Larry, what is wrong with you? Larry, there are a few things I need to ask you about. Hey, now how about that? I got a few things I gotta ask you too! What is it? It's like, both you and him? How is it that the two of you always manage to have some cute or hot girl by your side? And Francie, how about the promise you made to me? Promise? What promise? The one where you said you would model for my next book, Francie's Whippity Whip Trip? I made no such promise! Ever since grade school, we've had a certain saying about Larry. When something smells, it usually is the butts. One needs to look no further than this man to find the king of troublemakers. Ugh. As I recall, aren't you calling yourself Laurice Donham now? That's Donham! With an X! Laurice Donham! Get this straight in your head, Edgy. Now I remember, you're that rude, pale imitation of a real artist. No, you got it all wrong. I gave up on the whole Laurice business. Besides, the Bangelina left me and my heart is in pieces. That's when Mindy walked into my life. She's been so good to me that I wanted to help her in some way. And I figured I could through the Steel Samurai outfit. Your inane blatherings make less and less sense each time we meet. I believe he's saying that he picked up this part-time job as a Steel Samurai so that he may attempt to capture the heart of the actress who plays the Pink Princess. You got it! I knew you'd know what I meant, Edgy. No, not really. It's not so much as I understood, but a simple deduction based on your usual modus operandi, Larry. Now for the second issue. Larry, I'd like you to confess right now to everything you did tonight. Confess? Hey, now don't tell me you suspect me too! Nonsense! I don't believe you have the mental acuity needed to plan and execute a murder. However, we are talking about you here, so I find it hard to believe that nothing happened. For past experience has taught me that you're always at the center of some insane event. Edgy, how could you be so mean, stabbing at me with your words like that? Unfortunately, I don't have time to search out for a key to unlock your heart this time. So I suggest that you cooperate and tell me what you know. Okay, I get it. Just stop praising for whipping me from behind. So, I guess you know what I did, right, Edgy? I can't even begin to imagine. However, I imagine that whatever you're up to is probably beyond my imagination. So you will tell me exactly what you did, Larry. Nope, not yet, Edgy. I'll take more than that to lose my lips. More! Confess! Now! Okay, well, I was up on the roof. And why exactly were you up on the roof? Oh, you know, that wintry costume of the legendary hero. Legendary? Hero? Santa Claus! Santa Claus. I wanted to do that thing he does, so I climbed up on one of the chimneys. But when I got there, there was smoke pouring out of the chimney. Smoke? And? Well, I couldn't go down the chimney with smoke coming up, right? So I give up. Larry, you do realize that Santa Claus does not exist, right? Of course I know! I didn't graduate from junior high, you know! Then you should also understand this. If Santa was real, he would be the biggest unlawful trespasser in history. Oh, crud! It is your attempt to imitate Santa that has landed you in a prime suspect in this murder. Come on, man. What's so wrong with pretending to be Santa? Let's start with the fact that it will be in the Ides of March in a matter of hours. Santa only visits home on December 24th. That is in December, you nitwit. No! Wait a second. We're not in court. I need a mental break from this man. I am walking away. The person shaking hands with the Steel Samurai in this picture is Ambassador Alba. Taken just before the murder. Steel Samurai must be very popular. They even use the National Treasure as backdrop. I just don't understand what exactly is so great about Top Knot there. Clearly there's a depth to the show that a younger person like you can't fathom. Speaking of young people, aren't young children the target audience of this show of costumed actors? That's beside the point, really. Well, he said smoke. It's a fireplace. By the looks of it, I don't think it's been used recently. Yes, I can say that I see nothing unusual about it. Two gorgeous flowers in full bloom here. I'm sure flowers as lovely as these must have an equally as lovely name. Miles Edgeworth, are you done staring? I should hardly think passion flowers are all that rare. Passion flowers? That's a rather unusual name. It was named by priests in the 15th century as the Passion of Christ. Huh. As I say, you learn something new every day. Passion flowers. Must be Ambassador Alba's desk. His notebook is open to his desk. He must have been in the middle of something important work. Sapling growth log has finally sprouted. Funny, it doesn't look like important work to me. Debatable. Now then. So this is the victim, Damask II. What is with his gaudy outfit? You don't know about Damask? A few months ago, this thief caused a lot of havoc in the populace. So this thief is separate from the Yatagarasu? I thought they were for a while, because Rambo and targets were different. Master Mask likes high-value trinkets and jewels, and being gaudy is his signature. Gumshoe was in charge of that investigation, so he'd know more about Damask. That's alright. All I'd probably hear are tales of his failure anyway. Gonna change a bit, I see. In any case, let's get started here, shall we? Investigate everything. There's not a single shred of fashion sense in Damask's costume. Well, at least I can appreciate the great effort he must have put into making it. You don't know? You can buy this costume almost anywhere now. It's being sold? Since when? Since around New Year's. The streets are practically flooded with them. Turns out Damask is a lot more popular than I thought he'd be. Can't believe the foolish fool would dress in fool's clothing to act foolishly. You got your point with 3 foolishes back, Francisco. What does he have in his hand? What's he holding? It looks like a piece of paper from a notebook. It would appear the directions on how to reach this room were written by hand. There's something written on the back as well. I'd like you to steal the Primadeus statue in this room. What is it supposed to mean? Who writes a note to themselves like that? If I had to guess from the text, I would say that this is actually a request from someone about what to steal. Just who is the person that requested the theft from the Primadeus statue? What's this? I suppose this is a wrapping cloth Damask would use to carry his stolen goods. There's nothing written on it now, wrapped in it now. I guess he never did manage to get his hands on whatever he has out to steal. What's this sword? So this is the murder weapon in the case. There's blood on the blade. There's blood on the blade. It's a rather sweeping sword, isn't it? What did you expect? It's Steel Samurai Daddy's second weapon. I only call it his secondary because, although he uses his sword in most of his battles, it's his trusty samurai spear that he turns to in a real fight. You sure know quite a bit about the Steel Samurai. That's only because I saw the stage show earlier. The owner of this sword is the Steel Samurai, or in other words, Larry. I should probably ask him about it, as detrimental as it is to proving him innocent. This tends to backfire. And since we're here, I thought Damascus quit the business. This guy? He's just a copycat using the name. A phony successor. He's just another petty thief. His real identity is an out-of-work guy by the name of Kashi Now. Cash Now? He's 29, wanted on larceny charges. From his clothes and what he was carrying, we determined that this guy is the real Damascus II. The cause of death appears to be loss of blood from the back of his head. It seems that he was struck with something very hard. In other words, he was bludgeoned to death. With that, I am done investigating. There's some weapons on display on the wall. A crossbow, and under that, a set of knives bearing a flower motif. It must be counterfeits to part of the counterparts to the Ablaze knives, which means that the blades inside these scabbards should match the blade that was used to kill Mr. Cochin. Investigate it all. Knives adorned with flowers are on display here. I suspect that these are the counterparts to the Ablaze knives. The blades of these knives should match the blades of the knife that killed Mr. Cochin. What? One of these knives is missing its blade. Let's see if the two pieces of the blade and handle fit each other. It would appear that they fit together quite well, almost seamlessly. Then this means that an alabaster knife did find its way into Babal. But how? Spear. It's a Steel Samurai's primary weapon, the Samurai Spear. Isn't it awesome? I totally fell with this thing. It's sleek and shiny, just like my heart. Comes at you like whoosh! When you hold it, you just want to live life like BAM! You'd do well to watch what you say, Larry. Although, it's just as though he says, the spear is quite the symbol of valor. However, speaking of spears, aren't you supposed to use them by thrusting at the point straight at your opponent? I'm not entirely convinced the spear is up to the task. What's wrong, Edgy? You're just staring off into the distance. Oh, I get it. Tell you what, I'll tell the studio to make one, okay? This one's mine. Did I say anything about wanting one? Maybe I can shut him up if I show him the piece of evidence. I will point something out to this spear. Let's see if I can deduce it. Ah, yes, this is it. Larry, about the spear. Oh, you feeling it? Bam! I thought there was something strange about this spear. Tell me, Larry, is it just me or is the spear a bit bent? What? No way, it's exactly as it should be, yo! I have here the autograph you wrote for me earlier. Now take a look at this which you drew with your own hands. You can see that the spear is clearly in a different shape. Oh! What do you have to say to that? I'm sorry! When I held the spear in my hands, all of a sudden I feel super powerful, and then during practice, I was spinning it around and around, and then BAM! It hit the wall! Hold it! You unbelievable! This is an embassy! But I've always been like that, ever since I was a kid. One time on an overnight field trip, I bought a fake sword and played with it late that night. I'm just used as a hot-blooded man! Larry, clarify that for me, will you? Alright, so I was on a field trip. I began to shadow fight with myself. Not that! I meant what you said earlier about spinning the spear and hitting the wall. Oh, that! Oh, that's no biggie. Not like I left a hole or anything. That is not why I'm asking, Larry. The samurai spear is made of metal. I somehow doubt that a move as simple as spinning it around would cause it to bend. Man, Edgy, you're so naive. What? Where did that come from? Well, you keep calling it the samurai spear, but it's not real. You can't really fight someone with it. It's hollow on the inside. You can hit it against practically anything and it bend. Is that so? Don't tell me you thought it was real. Oh, but don't take it the wrong way. I just think the part of your personality is cute. I see. If friendship truly is something special, Miles Edgeworth. This is not friendship, it's utter humiliation. But it does point out something important. Now let's see if I can investigate the statue. There's absolutely no difference between this Permadew statue and Babal's. Statue's face looks a bit like costumed hero you like so much. I only wonder why you Americans have such the affinity with this kind of face. The statue wasn't made by an American, you know. At least I don't suppose so. Huh. So good to know. He bent it. It's not a real weapon. I'll keep that for later. You did some investigating over the Ablaze embassy too, right? I did. Is there a problem? As long as he says, a wolf who aims to hunt the 2 rabbits at once. I believe the idiom you require is, he who runs after 2 hares will catch neither. A real wolf can catch both. I see. So to try to say, seeing as how I'm currently handling 2 cases. Suit yourself. I'll say I didn't warn you. Nope. Alright. Let's just recheck. Knowing that... I'm gonna ask one more thing about that then. Murder weapon. Larry, about the samurai sword that was used as the murder weapon. Oh, that. Well, I shook hands with the ambassador in this room, you know? Yes. Apparently you did. And well, I totally forgot about it and left it behind when I left afterwards. You wanna talk about shock? I was the most shocked of all when I heard it killed someone. Ah! Foolish! Fool-looking especially foolish for foolishly stating such a foolish excuse. You forgot to take something that big with you? Who would believe such a tale? Sorry, Ms. Von Karma, but I believe him. Because if anyone could forget something like that, it would be Larry. Edgy, believe me. I just knew that our friendship was something special. Anyway, even if Larry had simply forgotten the sword and left behind, that in no way clears his name. Which means that I will have to prove his innocence from a different angle. I was going to ask him about something. The sword. That's an official Steel Samurai weapon. What? You want me to do it? You have no idea how many fans ask that of me. What are you prattling on about? Steel Samurai Sushi Slice! How's that? But it sends shivers up your spine. Ah! Let myself get caught up in being a spectator. How can I fail myself? Oh. Now then, logic? I'm missing something then. No matter how hard you try, there would be a necessity of Shifu's investigation. Is that a fact? But no matter how good he is, he's bound to overlook something. You sold us Shifu, then prepare to be punished. Oh, and how exactly would you punish us? Every investigator under Shifu's command will work to disrupt your investigation. Vindictive much? Counterpart of the Ablaze butterfly is the Alabastian flower. Butterfly and flower. They're both lovely things. We can interpret this to mean that Alabast provides honey to Babal. Francisca, can't you come up with a more meaningful or profound comment? Very well then, let's hear what sort of profound comment you've come up with. Well, the flowers cannot survive without the butterflies that spread their pollen. And butterflies cannot live without the nectar the flowers provide. If either one were to disappear with the equation, neither would survive. How's that, Ms. Von Karma? Explanation took so long that I nearly fell asleep. Let's continue the investigation. Francisco, why can't you just admit I had something there? It was pretty good. There was the exact same statue sitting in the Ablaze office we examined. It's a Permadew statue, with the national treasure of the Principality of Kadafia. There's only one of these statues, meaning one of the two is a replica. But both Alabast and Babal claim to have the real thing. An incredibly childish fight to have. Well, let's investigate everything. This primitive statue. There was one of these on Babal's side as well. It was very valuable and made of pure gold. It was national treasure Gaddafi. There's only one of these statues, meaning that one of the two is a replica. Both of them claim to have the real thing and won't budge for their claim. Incredibly childish fight to have. It's a shame we can't investigate it in more detail. There was almost the exact same wall mount of the knives on the Ablaze side. But I can't see any details from this distance. Deduce. It really is a replica, isn't it? Treasure only the ambassador and the secretary can touch it. I still don't have any new pieces of logic. Alright. Wait a minute. So he doesn't add up. Look at this photo and tell me what you find odd about the scene, Miss Karma. The apparent joy in the ambassador's face as he shakes the top knot's hand? That's not it! I was trying to point out the statue in the photo is facing a different way. You're right. The statue is national treasure. As such, only an ambassador or the secretary level person is allowed to handle it. The fact that the statue is facing one way in this photo, and now it's facing a different direction, in this preserved crime scene, is proof that someone touched the statue around the time of the crime. I guess that about wraps up my investigation. That's... Yo, Pink Princess! How you feeling? Still feeling ill? And yet another strange character comes out of the woodwork. And so the Pink Princess is what comes to pay the Alabastian Embassy a visit. I believe I may need to speak with her as well. This should be a delight. Miss Pink Princess, I have a few questions I'd like to ask you. Miss Pink Princess, if you would please answer. Me? Must be what they call fate. How could this happen 2 days in a row? What the? Aren't you Miss Holdbag? Why are you surprised? Ah, so you're the one that got to play the Steel Samurai. It's too bad I didn't realize it until now. Your acquaintances with Larry? Why, yes, we worked at the same company for a little while, you know. That's why it's okay, Edgeworth. You don't need to be jealous. I was in the next room, you know, trying to get some beauty sleep. But it was so noisy here that I couldn't fall asleep, so I just came to complain. So imagine my shock when I saw my precious Edgeworth waiting for me. I mean, who could have imagined that you'd ever come to a show like this? Because I misjudged you, Edgeworth. You misjudged him? I thought he was trying to avoid me, you know. That was no misjudgment on your part. That is precisely what I was trying to do. Well, it looks like the winds have shifted and now he's willing to be chased after. Simply overwhelmed. Why don't you worry, Edgeworth? I'll chase you forever. To the ends of the earth. Isn't that just peachy? This is one of those rare times when Francisca and I actually see eye to eye. Now then, what are you doing here? I thought you were working at Gatewaterland as the Pink Badger. What are you talking about? That was ages ago. That was yesterday!
Look, I worked at Global Studios before, a long time ago, right? Well, they called me up this morning, kind of out of the blue, actually.
They called you?
Apparently the girl who plays the princess collapsed with a bad cold. And just suddenly, so they called me in to be here last-minute replacement.
Do they not have enough people on staff at that studio?
I really could say no, so here I am, playing the role of the heroine. Instead of the Mindy girl, I mean. But the poor girl, I feel so bad for her. Because they let me stand in for her, she's going to have a terrible time when she returns. I mean, it's not exactly great, plus, there's standing in the very last second, there's important lines, I threw it right down, so sugar, and the enemy, oh my god, forgive me, there's a bunch of simpletons.
You're a rather lively old lady. So basically, you received a stand-in request this morning, correct?
You got it. If you need to see it, I got it right here. Look.
It appears that she is telling the truth.
I tell you, my fine acting moved the entire audience to tears.
Yes, tears of laughter, as I recall.
Being famous has its problems too, you know. Take a look at this. It's a letter from Stalker. I just did mine on my break when I found it stuck under the door of my room. Honestly, you really have to watch out for these kind of things. Look what it says. Wednesday, he was descending for you from above you tonight, loving night. Ugh, how absolutely revolting. You'd think you'd get my name right. There's no accent in my name.
Wait, this horrible handwriting. Where have I seen this before?
I'm not your hero, Jipu. I feel 100% safe.
Where do I factor into this?
Bust that evil Stalker man for my sake, wouldn't you, Jipu?
Well, if you allow me the liberty to handle this my own way, I'll gladly dispatch a detective to your house later.
Come on, Jipu, stop being so dismissive and play hard to get.
It's not acting! What were you doing at the time of the crime?
What crime?
What?!
After the show was over, I had nothing but free time on my hands. So I used the fireplace in the room next door to keep my bad hip warm.
How oblivious can you get?
A murder occurred in the room right next to yours! Is that right? Oh, I'm so scared, hold me, arrest me.
No! If you could please not cling on to my personage.
In any case, I take it then that you failed to show up for the Ambassador Alba's speech? Oh, that? No, I didn't go. I mean, I may have the heart of a young, tender maiden, but my body just refuses to cooperate at times. And so as soon as the show ended, my hip started acting up and got stiff. I couldn't move at all.
Can you provide proof of your condition?
Oh, you just go ahead and ask the doctors in the infirmary. They're the ones who carried me from the theater all the way to this embassy.
I have to admit, the thought of her not being able to leave this room is rather pleasant. I wish we could go back to that time. Prosecutor Von Karma! I brought the police dog as you requested, sir.
Good work.
You may leave now, officer. Huh. This dog. I requested the assistance of a dog in a search for your Takarasu. Looks like this guy has some pretty bright dogs in this country, too. His name is Mislav, you know. Hey, you're real cutie, aren't you? Yeah, it's a good boy. That's the police dog Gumshoe's been taken care of. I think its name is Missile.
What a fitting name for a police dog that dashes out in front and attacks.
The action alone isn't exactly what's going to solve the case for us, you know.
Now, Missile, I want you to find some clues. Go!
What?
Good dog. You really are quite bright, aren't you? Unlike a certain someone I know. And what do we have here? What is this? It looks like a small hot dog, but...
Wait, Francisca, isn't that an official samurai dog?
No! Bad Missile! He ate it.
I wonder if it's alright for him to eat that. It's just a meat substance snack featuring the Steel Samurai. I'm sure it'll be fine. That's quite a bit of information you gathered there in a single quick glance. We should really be focusing on why there was a samurai dog in the fireplace in the first place.
It looks like the snack wasn't all Missile found.
Oh, what do we have here?
It appears to be a lady's undershirt. I wonder if Ambassador Alba might have an interest in cross-dressing?
I somehow doubt that. It doesn't look like the shirt would even fit him. So my dog and a lady's undershirt. What are these two items doing in a room like this? Given the circumstances, the lady's undershirt can only belong to one person. I suppose I should get this over with and ask the owner about said undershirt. Every time you approach her, it's like nearing a landmine. There's only one person who would own such a thing. Could you please take a look at this brown-colored undershirt?
What is the meaning of this?
What?
Why did you steal that thing from my bags? All you had to do was ask and I would have gladly given you as many as you like.
Thanks, but no thanks. This shirt was found here at the crime scene.
What?
Come now, why don't you just confess and explain what it's doing here?
I know nothing! Nothing, I tell you!
What?
Oh, I mean, I used the fireplace to dry that shirt, but I can't really help the fact that it had to, you know? And Big Brother is like being in a sauna. On top of that, I get fingers a suspect. You're too cruel, Edgy Poo.
Are you claiming that you never once set foot inside this room?
Of course I am! If I had been the one to find the body, do you think I'd be calm and relaxed as I am? It's always like this. Not my fault for the news and the weekly tabloid magazine. Missing cameras, missing. They're missing. Speaking of missing, his husband. He was married, so married. What got away to propose that? What's my ears like? I don't deserve it. Could I help him? Can we marry you? I'm on these days.
Well, I don't think she's lying about her actions. So I can safely assume she really was destroying her shirt in the fireplace. Somehow, the undershirt managed to move from the next room to this one. I assume the samurai dog was also yours?
Ah, that brilliant mind of yours. You really can see through everything about me.
And so the feeling of dread continues. But I suppose I need to ask for more details. If I must. That samurai dog was yours, wasn't it?
Of course I'm forever yours, Edgy Poo.
Hold it! That is not what I said! If you just stick to what I asked you...
Edgy, are you in my soul bag?
No!
You really don't change, do you? When you learn how to take a joke. I mean, that samurai dog wasn't mine. Those things are a present from the studio to the embassy.
A present? The studio bigwigs basically told us to play delivery boys. We were supposed to hand the dogs off to the embassy people and tell them hi. I had to pile them all to a pushcart just to move them all. The studio guys should have delivered these things by themselves, right, Edgy? So, did you deliver the samurai dogs to the embassy staff, as per your instructions?
Hey, Edgy, don't just ignore me with my question! Aren't you going to stick up for me? Ah, yeah, see, after the show, I went to rest the spell in the dressing room. Because of my bad hip, you know. And there they were, samurai dogs just sitting there in the dressing room floor.
I suppose you had to make preparations for distributing them after the show?
Well, by preparations you mean sampling them as well.
Excuse me?
Oh, I tried one and thought they were actually quite good. Ah, sorry, but I just had to find out. I knew it was silly of me to think this, but I figured since they were a kids' show, it tasted probably for kids too. But they were so good, I couldn't stop. So before I went back to my room, I just had to help myself to half a dozen or so boxes. I sat there by the roaring fire, warming of eating them, and thought, this is...
No, please, continue talking about how you stole company property.
What is it now? Oh, I know, I bet you want a box too, don't you, Edgy Poo? Well, who am I to say no to you? But I only gave you one. The rest are all for me.
I don't want these.
Looks like the lesson for today is that when the Steel Samurai and the Pink Princess take off their masks, they transform into a pair of annoying troublemakers!
We're not even done talking to them. Now, Larry, you have something you need to answer for as well. I wonder if you might know what this is?
Nope, not a clue! You didn't even look at it! Nah, it's because the only thing I can see right now is the form of my lovely frenzy. Oh, in that case, allow me to help you sear my form into you for all eternity.
Now this is a trip I'm willing to endorse, especially if we can finally get some peace here. Alright. Now let's think about this. Choose the fireplace. There's smoke for the chimney. but just simply put two and two together. There was no trace of this room's fireplace being used. And your point is? Smoke was supposedly pouring from the chimney connected to this fireplace. At least according to Larry. This is a contradiction of facts, is it not? Are you sure it wasn't just disoriented or something up on the roof? There was testimony from an investigator that puts Larry at this particular chimney. So no, I don't think it was a mistaken impression on Larry's part. On the other hand, the fireplace in the next room was being used at the time. Where do you suppose the smoke in the fireplace went? I see. So you're saying, so what you were proposing is this. The smoke that came with the chimney was actually from Miss Oldbag's fire. So basically, the fireplaces of neighboring rooms share one chimney. Is that what you're implying? Precisely. And then, if we could imply that we have a shared chimney, that explains it. The lady's undershirt that Missile found. Ah! Why are you getting all excited over holding on the lady's undergarment? How's Edgeworth? You uncouth sea slug. If you know what the owner said of said on the shirt, then hurry up and return to her already. You have it all wrong. This is evidence. The owner of this piece of evidence was in the room next door. And yet, despite that, Missile found it in the fireplace of this room. This lady's undershirt? Are you seriously claiming that it somehow passed through a solid brick wall? Not quite. The fireplace in this room is connected to a chimney. The other fireplace in the other room is also connected to the same chimney, giving us the possibility that the two fireplaces are connected to each other. Perhaps a closer look at the back of the fireplace is in order. There's an X on the back of the wall of the fireplace. See if I can't get a better look at it. Oh. What the? The wall separating this room's fireplace from the next room's fireplace apparently turns. As I suspected, this fireplace does indeed connect this room to the neighboring room. The neighboring room? There appears to be nothing particular about the next room. But the fact that there is nothing special about the next room isn't what's important. It's the fact that there is a secret passageway through this room's fireplace. We now know that the fireplace connects the two rooms. But how exactly is that significant? You aren't going to suddenly name the old lady as Damask the Second's killer now, are you? No, she couldn't move at all because of her stiff hip. So she could not have been the one. Unfortunately, I believe that this fireplace has nothing whatsoever to do with the Master Second's murder. It would appear that the answer has made itself known. Making quite a confident face there, Mr. Prosecutor. Bring it on. Ready to counter any argument you may have. Very well then. If you're prepared, I'll show you exactly where my deductions have led me. Good, I'm counting on you, Edgy. Leave it to me, Larry. My first attack will be to expose your lie for what it really is. My lie? You know that there is still something you're keeping from me from the rest of us. What's wrong with you? Why is it you won't believe me no matter what I say, Edgy? Curse you! I should have just heard it already if that's what you're gonna be. I'll confess to every murder in the whole world and then give myself. Then throw everyone in the mass confusion. Huh. Made some wonderful friends as a child, I see. Larry, I only have one thing to say to you. Even if you make that face at me, there's no use. Man who's ready to die is strong-willed, you know. Larry, it doesn't matter what sort of harebrained trouble you've caused. I only ask that you do not lie to me. If you cause an innocent person to be judged unfairly because of some insipid lie, I will never forgive you. Edgy. Although, allow me to say that I consider you to be among the innocent in this case. And that I will draw the real killer out. You can trust me on this. Alright, This time I'll tell you the whole truth, okay? What happened, what didn't happen, the works. Just what happened will do. Now then, if you would please testify as to what you did up to the roof on the roof tonight. After the show, we left the pushcart in the Rose Garden and came to the embassy. Then they took a picture of me shaking hands with the ambassador. After that, and until my next appearance, I had some free time, so I wandered around. That's when I spotted the chimney. A chimney like that's a rare thing, you know. So then I wanted to play Santa and decided to give it a try. Larry, I thought I just finished telling you to not lie anymore. But it's kinda ultra embarrassing. And what exactly is so ultra embarrassing that you can't tell me?
Edgy, man! It's just so embarrassing, so of course I can't just blurt it out. So we're just gonna have to reason it out of me!
As your superior, I command you to hurry up and expose this man's lie. I have every intention to, for I'm not about to let us waste time on such a trifling matter. After the show, I left this Porsche car in the Rose Garden. Came into the embassy. You left the pushcart. Could you please clarify that statement for me?
Yeah, so the wheels of the pushcart got covered in dirt in the Rose Garden. It would have made a mess of the floor inside, so Ambassador Alba said to just leave it.
Well, it would be rather impolite to dirty another country's embassy.
So come to think of it, I recall seeing the Pink Princess on my way to the embassy.
And what was she doing?
Nothing particular, because she was being carried by some docs at a stretcher.
She must have been incapacitated by the pain of the bad hip that she suffered during the show.
So I came into the embassy, right? Then they took a picture of me shaking hands with the ambassador.
So you shook hands with the ambassador of the Kingdom of Ablaze, did you?
Yeah, can you believe it? I did something really cool for a change. But honestly speaking, there's nothing interesting about shaking some guy's hand.
Hey there, are you disrespecting another country with their very own embassy?
As someone with roots in this country, I'm feeling nothing but incredible shame at this second.
Agreed. I apologize for his inconsiderate words. Now, Larry, please continue.
What is with all of you? You keep saying that kind of thing, and I'll tell you only lies.
You're already telling us nothing but lies. Let's go on and move on.
Alright already. You don't need to glare at me like that, Edgy. After that, and until my next appearance, I had some free time, so I wandered around.
Larry, I want you to listen very carefully and take this to heart. The whole point of your life is to cause misery and pain to everyone you encounter.
I know! I get it! I'm totally the bad guy again! I thought you were his friend. Don't you think that was a bit harsh? Long as he says, true friends are bosom friends. If you're in trouble, call on your bosom friend, whose shoulder you can truly cry on. Bosom buddy, I hope you're listening carefully to my testimony.
Has it crossed your pea-sized brain yet that Agent Lang is only out to arrest you, Larry?
Now then, you were wandering around inside the embassy. Then what happened? That's when I spotted the chimney. Something like that's a rare thing, you know.
I should hardly think that chimneys are that rare.
Agreed, especially since they are a traditional feature in American houses. Plus, many grand buildings are even larger and fancier chimneys. Yeah, but the kind of chimney I'm talking about is a really romantic type.
A romantic chimney?
It might sound kind of silly, but women seem to really enjoy them. I just had a good feeling about that chimney. So then I wanted to play Santa and decided to give it a try.
You suddenly wanted to play Santa?
Ah, well actually I dressed up as Santa once before already. And it was down at Gourd Lake.
Dude! I'd appreciate it if you wouldn't dredge up such unnecessary memories for me.
It sounds like you guys share a lot of history. Perk to being childhood friends, huh? Besides, not a felony to dress up and play Santa, you know. Santa doesn't go around killing people after he comes down families' chimneys, after all.
Actually, it is worth delving into whether or not playing Santa is a big deal.
Yes.
Actually, I believe in the case of this man, playing Santa is actually quite a big deal.
Are you saying that your buddy isn't exactly made of Santa quality stuff?
Precisely. You hit the nail on the head, Agent Lang.
Hey, Peggy, that's so mean!
Tell me something, Larry. Did you know that Santa's job is to deliver presents to people all over the world?
Of course I know that! I did graduate from junior high, you know.
In that case, it's your turn to tell me something. I want you to tell me to whom you were delivering a present to.
I was, delivering a present to a child not basking in the glow of love?
Objection! That must be the most elegant description of you I've ever heard, but a lie is still a lie.
You sure know how to kick a guy when he's down, you know that?
In any case, the person you wish to deliver a present unto was most certainly this.
And your days got there, Mr. Suspect. Don't spread lies about me! Totally didn't want to see this old bag of someone's like trying to go down a chimney. Stop!
I'd advise you to stop right there in your bashing of a lady. Well, I must admit that I myself hardly have ever wanted to run into that lady. However, what if you were misinformed and under the wrong impression? Then what?
Define wrong impression.
I simply mean that the man before you thought to enter the old lady's room without knowing one very important fact. And that fact is best summed up with this! This is something the old lady received from her employer through the night. The girl who normally plays the pig princess, Mindy, was it again? It seems that this man is quite taken with that actress.
Hold it! But that's not true, Edgy!
Hmm?
She's the one with the hots for me! I just know it! I can feel her sexy beam piercing my heart when she's watching me! You filthy, despicable, inconsiderate, fickle, idiotic, cowardly aberration of a man! You haven't matured at all since we last met! Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes?
This guy, he's got bigger problems than just being involved in murders, I take it?
I suppose you could put it that way.
Hey, what the heck, man? I don't get you guys at all. Why do you want to make me to be some sort of bad guy?
To return to the original topic, I propose that at least this much has been made clear. Without any knowledge that Miss Mindy had fallen ill, Larry tried to make his way into Pink Princess's room. Not much we know for sure.
Hold it! Edgy, looks like I got a hang of this court thing now.
But we're not in court at the moment.
Shut up! That's what's going on here, and that looks like what you do in court. I guess old boy here still has something you'd like to say. Longzy says, until the root of the tongue dries, one never knows the whole truth. You shouldn't form conclusions until everything's out in the open, which is why I'll listen. Alright, get ready to listen to me defeat Edgy in the Battle of Wits.
Larry, have you forgotten that should I lose, your victory prize will be your arrest? Look at that face, he doesn't even remember.
So you think that all I wanted to do was go visit Mindy? Well, I dressed up as Santa Claus and climbed up the chimney, but the smoke was really thick. That was a case of mistaken identity. That mistake made me late for the speech. Then to top it off, I became a suspect in a murder. That's what you really meant. Why would I ever put myself through such humiliation on purpose? Hey, someone say something!
Larry, are you seriously trying to submit this not as a confession, but as a testimony?
So what if I am? Is there something wrong with that? My claim is a claim, claiming my claim. Do you have a problem with that? It was you! You're my stalker! I should have warned you. It doesn't matter what kind of flattery you throw at me. I'm the devoted type of one who's wholly focused on one man, one animal. Only was Edgy was alive. Just can't do a job and was unfaithful. No, I can't. Loyally was attempted to with an old man. Edgy when I wanted to sort of Edgy with the rest. I swear. Ah! I'm so inspired!
You're such an inconsiderate, cowardly, idiotic, all around completely worthless man! You know, I thought I heard something ominous just now, but perhaps that was just my imagination. I'm going to play it no regard. I believe there's nothing further for me to prove at this point.
What do you mean? Of course you've still got something to prove. You still have to show us some proof that I was trying to meet up with Mindy.
Proof, you say?
Remember, Edgy, everything is evidence in court, right?
Ah, you mean evidence is everything in court, Larry. But I understand your point.
Yeah, see? Totally pro with this now.
Very well. If you wish to see the evidence, then let me show you the last piece of evidence you'll ever wish to see.
So you think that all I want to do is go visit Mindy?
Yes! Well, I have been saying that for a while now. After all, if not for that, then what other reason did you wish to go down the chimney?
Hold it! You can't say that without any evidence. That's against the rules, Edgy. Thanks for keeping the prosecutor in line for me, Mr. Suspect.
I have the evidence. If you wish to see it that badly, I can introduce you to.
Ah, but it's not good to keep them waiting, my subordinates. Hurry and show them already. Lies! All lies, Edgy.
Well, if you wish to lie, then by all means continue. Because I'm ready to expose your lie at the moment's notice.
You won't get the better of me. Let's see. Well, I dressed up as Santa and climbed down the chimney. The smoke was really thick.
Was the smoke coming from the chimney really that thick?
You bet. It was so thick, I had tears pouring out of my eyes. It was a mess.
I see. You do realize that you've just confirmed for us your chimney escapade?
What? That's totally unfair! You tricked me!
Hardly. You simply have yet to master how to counter this cross-examination technique.
Well, what if I just said the slip of the... No, I mean, I said the wrong thing. Besides, isn't that you really meant to say about what I did tonight? It was a case of mistaken identity. That mistake made me late for the speech.
I'm not quite sure how you could mistake that actress for this lady.
Oh, Edgy. Are you staring at me?
No.
Are you finally just going on with feminine charms?
Ah, I should think that Steel Samurai is the one who should know all about your charms.
Why me? Edgy, what are you trying to do to me?
Nothing! Simply that the Steel Samurai and the Pink Princess are husband and wife.
Is my poor little Edgy boo jealous?
No! If you could please drop that line of discussion right this instant.
Edgy, I told you, I have Mindy.
Speaking of Mindy, exactly what kind of woman would you say she is?
Hold it! Edgy, are you seriously telling me you don't know who the Mindy is? She's just like what her name means. Super sweet with a great smile. I don't mean to brag, but she's one of the troupe's fastest rising stars.
Interesting.
Hold it. So you're saying a woman like this is what made you late to the speech? Huh? Curse you too. Why is everyone trying to make a suspect out of me? All I can say is this. I was late to the speech. Then to top it all off, I became a suspect in the murder. That's what you really meant.
Hold it. I suppose you might be correct in a small way.
What do you mean by that? Besides being a suspect in the murder, there are a few other things you're a suspect of. Oh, not you too, Frenzy. Try to stalk me. I won't let you intimidate me like that. Well, look, I already told you, Miss Oldbag. I wasn't after you. I was trying to see Mindy. Hold it. Miss Prosecutor, can I just arrest this guy already?
I completely understand how you feel, Agent Lang.
Wait, please listen to me what I have to say.
If you have a serious assertion to make, then I'd consider listening. However,
no problem, I'm gonna put all this stuff against this, so listen good, okay? Why would I ever put myself through such humiliation on purpose?
hold it. Larry, this is the final point you wish to make.
You got it. I call it all the energy I have and told you what all my soul.
In that case, allow me to take that soul and break it.
Huh? Yes, we'll stamp it under our feet until it's been ground to a fine powder.
Fine powder?
You really put all your soul into that, and you're ready for what's coming, right?
In place of the honorable Larry, I offer my soul to you, the Steel Samurai. Larry, come out of there behind there and face me like a man.
You're scary, my liege.
This whole testimony is one giant confession of all he's done tonight. He's practically begging me to show why he bothered to put himself through all this. Well, if you're asking. Because of this! Larry, don't even think about denying that you have knowledge of this letter.
Hey! Why are you showing the thing to me?
Wendy, I'll be ascending for you from above tonight, your loving knight. Well, isn't that just romantic? But you weren't able to descend on honor from above, were you, Mr. Loving Knight?
Dad! I have no idea what you're talking about! I don't remember a thing!
Objection! You can pretend to be ignorant all you like, but it's written here right here. This letter proves that you were not out to meet the old lady, but rather that you were attempting to pay Miss Mindy a visit. Part of this letter shows the person you intended to meet? Well, obviously, this scroll right here. I suggest you take up penmanship lessons. That is, if you never wish to experience this level of embarrassment ever again.
What the heck? What are you talking about? Speak English!
You wrote Mindy so sloppily that it became Wendy to the average eye. Hey, stop picking on me, man.
It's so embarrassing!
There, isn't that what childhood friends are for? They're the best, aren't they?
For punching.
But I'll have to wait until we're off the crime scene.
Save me from the scary man!
Sure, if you're willing to make amends, starting with your incredibly embarrassing mistake.
That wasn't me!
Come again?
It's a fake! Someone out there get me, so they made that fake letter. To set me up!
Accept your defeat graciously.
But you guys are being so mean.
Hold it. Penmanship analysis. What's that? No matter who, all people have certain unique features to their handwriting. Ergo, all we have to do is compare the handwritings in this letter to a sample of yours. And we'll know soon enough who it was that sent the letter.
I'll never write another thing in my life!
Hold is no use, Mr. Loving Knight. For you already graciously provided me with a sample of your handwriting. Does this look familiar? His autograph in our mysterious letter. If we compare the handwriting, we'll know the answer to the question soon enough. Confess now, Larry, to your miserable failure. I'm so sorry! I did it! It was me causing trouble again. I admit it. You hit the nail right in the head. Edgy. So he's finally confessing. I saw the big princess being carried around in the stretcher. Got worried, alright? I wanted to go into Minnie's room, but the doctors wouldn't let me in. So what choice did I have? It's a chimney or bust, Edgy. Your mind jumped from the door to the chimney? What a criminally overactive imagination. Well, at least it was honest and wrote Minnie a letter and stuck it under the door. That way she wouldn't be so shocked when I came down through the chimney. Except for the fact that the letter was an utter failure conveying said sentiment. Well, I'm really sorry. Larry, you may be a shameful, good-for-nothing blight on the face of humanity. However, I always knew you weren't the killer. I told you to trust me. Because at the very least, I can attest to that about you. Edgy. You're... Ah! We've lost a lot of valuable time because of you! Down! In any case, I believe we can say what we now know exactly what happened. Mr. Larry Butts sought to climb down the chimney, not for access to the crime scene, but to enter the room of the elderly lady next door. Good job, Mr. Prosecutor. Although, I still find it a bit unbelievable the two of you were friends. But the suspicion on that guy over there isn't completely resolved yet, so don't get any funny ideas about running off, okay? Oh, wait, what? Edgy, what does the Wolfman mean when he says I'm not off the hook yet? He means the murder weapon. Larry, did you forget? There are 2 layers of suspicion hanging over your head. That's exactly what I meant. We only rely on the words of a suspect, after all. And we may have figured out where he was and what he was doing all night. But the blood-stained samurai sword that was left at the crime scene. As long as there's no satisfactory explanation for that, this wolf will refuse to ease up on his bite. Edgy, the guy, he looks like he's seriously about to take a bite out of me. I'm well aware, and you should be as well, for this upcoming battle will be crucial. Thanks to the cooperation of our lovely bumbler, I've been dealt a very nice hand and a sweet trump card. Looks like we're about to enter the final bout. Now, Mr. Prosecutor, let's see what you got. I can easily point out the contradiction in the supposed murder weapon, but the real problem for me is figuring out what the real murder weapon is. It'll be a high-stakes gamble, but it's the one game I can't afford to lose. I was the one who found the body of the victim, Damas II. Besides him was the samurai sword, glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. It was supposed to be in the Steel Samurai's dressing room, but I found it here instead. Plus, I found the murder weapon's owner, the suspect, Larry Butts, in here too. Isn't it a bit far-fetched to accuse someone simply on the basis of ownership? This owner wanted to sneak into the crime scene. I think that's plenty to go on, don't you? Hold it! If you're alluding to his reason for being in the chimney, we've already established that. Hold on there, Mr. Prosecutor. You two are longtime friends, right? Who's to say you didn't fabricate the evidence to give him an alibi? You're accusing me of fabricating evidence? You think I can believe anything you produce? Forging evidence is all you prosecutors do. This man has some serious issues with prosecutors. Come on, I can't think of something as complicated as that, right, Edgy? Larry, I can agree because I know you and your personality well. However, Agent Lang knows nothing about you, or me for that matter. I sense his hatred for my entire profession emanating from his entire being, meaning that the only way I can prove Larry's innocence is to present irrefutable evidence. I was the one who found the body of the victim, Master II. So you were the first to discover the body this time. This time? What's that supposed to mean? You better watch what you say. I only said this time because earlier, Kay was the first to discover the body of a ball. And your secretary, Agent Sheena, was ready to accuse her for murder for that.
Ha! So you're gonna use that excuse to call me suspicious now?
Of course not. I was simply pointing out the usual pattern with discoverers of bodies. But in the Ablaze's case, there was no proof that she was holding the weapon, right?
Well, that one is a bit different, since we know exactly what the weapon is.
Besides him with his samurai sword, glittering red and offering up the scent of blood. Excuse me, but glittering red and offering of the scent of blood?
Do I have to spell it out for you? I meant the sight and smell of blood, of course. According to the tests, the blood on the sword belongs to the victim. The sword is made to only be used on the stage. It was not sharp, but it is pretty weighty. It's certainly heavy enough to beat someone to death. Which leads me to suspect that the victim was beaten to death with the sword.
Beaten to death, huh?
This last statement is too important to just let it slip by. Besides him with a samurai sword, covered in the victim's blood.
So the sword is covered in the victim's blood?
Yeah, lab results confirm that the blood on the sword matches the victim's. But the sword is as dull as a vanilla envelope. It's just a stage prop after all. The Steel Samurai is all about safety first. You can't use it as a real sword.
The Steel Samurai has spoken. The Pink Princess also appears to have something she'd like to petition you to you personally. What the Pink Princess would like to say can wait for the day after eternity.
Anyway, my point is that even though the sword is too dull to slice with, it certainly is heavy enough to bludgeon someone to death with. Therefore, I suspect he beat the victim to death with that thing.
About this samurai sword, have you received a report for the forensics yet?
They confirmed that the blood on the sword belongs to the victim.
Alright, but have they confirmed that the outline of this wound is consistent with a weapon?
Tell me something. Do you see the dead body right there in front of you? So, if they were conducting the autopsy right now, shouldn't that body not be here? Well?
I suppose so. I guess they must still be investigating this room. Meaning that it's possible he doesn't know about that piece of evidence's true nature.
Anything else you'd like to chit-chat about? No? Good. Let's continue. There's supposed to be in the Steel Samurai's dressing room, so I found it in here instead.
Larry has already testified that he forgot the samurai sword here.
Yeah, I was shaking hands with the ambassador in here, and I left behind by accident. So what? You lied earlier, so who'd say that's an excuse? It just isn't another lie.
But I forgot stuff all the time, right, Edgy?
Tell him. Why don't you tell him yourself? You see? What did I tell you earlier? No one will buy such a pathetically weak excuse.
Yes, well, I know that it's not possible to prove such an excuse as truth.
And yet you offer it up as fact? You're a worse person than I originally thought.
You're free to think what you'd like. However, I know that Larry is not the killer. Agent Lang, please continue with your argument. I'll expose the flaw in it soon enough.
Plus, I found the murder weapon's owner. The suspect, Larry Butt's in here too.
Just because he's the owner of the weapon, therefore he must be the killer, is it?
Nah, climbing all the way up to the chimney is plain suspicious in my book as well.
Regarding that, I've already drawn the truth out, and the truth is one thing that I don't bend.
Doesn't matter if it's you or whoever. Your prosecutors are all the same. As for me, prosecutors are the one thing I don't trust in.
Objection! An agent who doesn't trust prosecutors? What are you playing at?
Sorry, sis. But there are two things I trust. My subordinates and the evidence at the crime scene.
Agent Lang hates prosecutors. But as long as he trusts evidence has been left at the crime scene, then there is something I can show him that he can believe in. It's simply not possible that Samurai Sword is the real murder weapon. So I should focus on proving that point to the Agent Lang first. And I do have one thing that was left in the crime scene. Yeah, there's the sword, which is just a prop. But this is also a prop. What if he'll believe it? Agent Lang, about this piece of evidence.
Longzy says, confidence is like a soul. and words without confidence are but empty shells. You shouldn't waste your breath on words you have no confidence in, Mr. Prosecutor. That was just as bad as saying something full confidence of being wrong. Ugh. I don't need to be overflowing with self-confidence, I just need to think rationally. After all, I only need to be confident in the facts. So let's present it on this one. This one. This should show the truth.
Objection!
Do you know what this is, Agent Lang? It's a long spear, right? We used to use those a lot in my country a long time ago. Piercing, mowing people down. Spears are the weapon of heroes throughout history. It's the next most effective weapon after the whip. I think the whip is in a slightly different category. So what's your point? Are you guys going to tell me the spear's a real weapon? No, I simply want you to take a look at this section here. The way it's bent? Precisely. Apparently a certain troublemaker hit it against the wall in this embassy earlier. As you can clearly see, the inside of the weapons are hollow. In other words, they're replicas that aren't strong enough to deliver a damaging blow. Let alone the multiple strikes necessary to bludgeon someone to death. And yet there's not even a dent on the sword. How do you explain that? Yeah! Oh yeah! The sword and spear are made of the same stuff, so they bend easily. But I wish they'd make them out of better stuff, because the spear got bent. I wasn't able to do my special early summer rain jab move. Man, I got such an earful of the director of the play for not doing it in the show. The Steel Samurai's special move was changed tonight because of him? That's more than enough of your whiny whimpering. Now then, back to the topic of the spear. Yes, let's return to the real topic of discussion. This is where the real gamble begins. I don't have a real strategy per se, so all I can do now is let the chips fall where they may. Using guesswork and taking risks in place of real logic is hardly the Von Karma way. It's neither smart nor very clever. Miss Von Karma, as you know, unlike your father, I am not a genius prosecutor. Plus, I doubt his record of a 40-year win streak will ever be broken. But perhaps it is for the best if it remains unbroken. For no one should have conceived the notion to convict all defendants in the first place.
Objection!
What a foolishly foolish statement from a foolish fool who hates to lose. That's the job of a prosecutor to make sure that all defendants are found guilty in court. There is nothing more than important in this world than a perfect victory.
Hold it!
That may be your opinion, however. I don't believe that's all we are. As a prosecutor, what I pursue is not a perfect victory, but the perfect truth. And if that means that the bridge I must cross will crumble beneath my feet, then let it crumble as I walk on towards the truth.
Knuckle back!
You're good at keeping me entertained, Mr. Prosecutor. But you know, humans are delicate creatures. The slightest bump, and we expire. I'd like you to consider, if you will, the possibility that the sword was used in such a way that it attacked killed Master Mask without bending it. So what do you think of my hypothetical scenario? I think you know what to do here, right? What you need? Of course. What I need is evidence against even he can't refute. This is it. The time to bring this to a close. Possible to use a samurai sword to kill someone. And under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion. We searched the embassy top and bottom, but the victim's blood is only on that weapon. So is the only natural suspicion would fall onto the owner of said weapon? How long do you intend to cling on to that preposterous theory? As long as I want, because we're examining every corner within the walls of this embassy. There's no stone we left unturned. We have managed to come up with only one logical conclusion. That the only place inside the embassy with the victim's blood on it is this sword.
Hold it!
You left no stone unturned. Is that a fact?
Knuckle back!
If you've got something to say, then say it in the only way I respect, Mr. Prosecutor. Ah, yes, of course. In that case, allow me to make it all crystal clear for you. With evidence. It's possible to use a samurai sword to kill someone.
Hold it!
May I inquire as to how you're able to make such a claim, Agent Lang? Langsley says, capable of miracles beyond comprehension, a mysterious creature is man.
Rather than man, it's Agent Lang's quotes that are getting increasingly incomprehensible. The human body is a mysterious thing. Even with a toy-like sword, it's easy to kill a man if you hit just the right spot. Which is why I think it's possible to kill with this thing without leaving a dent.
Hold it.
But we can only be sure one way or another by seeing if the wound matches the sword. I know that. But as long as it's a possibility, I can proclaim it as much as I'd like. And under these circumstances, it's the only logical conclusion.
Hold it.
But what you must know is the conclusion is wrong. Given the circumstances I'm in, the only people I can trust are my subordinates. Because they're a much more trustworthy bunch than you prosecutors will ever be.
Hold it.
And you call yourself a professional.
Not so fast.
You still don't see, do you, Mr. Prosecutor? You have to earn my trust. The only way to do that is to show me proof of another possible murder weapon. Another possible weapon? In this room, there's only one other thing left. This is going to be a gamble, but I can't withdraw for the game now. You're not gonna get me to trust you with the power of your glare alone, you know. I have another reason to think that the samurai sword is a murder weapon. We searched the embassy top to bottom. The victim's blood was only on the weapon.
Hold it.
The only place where you could find blood on was on the samurai sword? That's right, even the luminol. Which means that there is no other possibilities outside of what we already outlined. Do I have a problem with Agent Lang's assertion? I do. If you believe that there is no other door possibility left to open, then allow me to force one open for you.
Not so fast.
Heh, and how do you plan to do that? By showing you what may possibly be the real murder weapon.
Not so fast.
The real murder weapon? I hate to repeat myself, but my men have already searched every last inch of this embassy. And they've concluded that nothing else could have been used as a weapon. Knowing these facts, do you still want to press forward with your little hypothesis? Of course. Because it's not possible that your men inspected everything in this investigation.
Not so fast.
What are you talking about? I don't appreciate mind games, and I don't appreciate when people like you slander my men.
Hold it.
It's not slandering them, I assure you. I'm merely pointing out that their investigation dragnet has a few holes in it. Namely, that there is something your men could not even lay a finger on. And that item is the real murder weapon. Alright then. I'll play along for now. This real weapon that killed Damas II. What exactly is it? The real murder weapon, which not a single person has yet to touch, is right in this room. The statue.
Take that.
The national treasure of Ablaze. Hold it! You mean the Primedu statue? Yes, and as you know, only the ambassador and the secretariat may touch it. Which I believe means that neither you nor your men were able to examine it, correct?
Not so fast.
You know very well that if we did that, there'd be an international incident. Between the Kingdom of Alabast and the Republic of Babal. The two countries' precarious relationship teeters on the balance. Over a stupid fight related to a sovereignty statue. But I'll be danged if I let something go unexamined.
Hold it.
Agent Lang, if you could take a look at this. The direction of the statue is facing just before and after the crime are different. And there is only one conclusion I can draw for that. Go look for Ambassador Alba, get him to give us the okay to examine the statue. Shifu, you can't listen to the infidel's words. He's most definitely trying to trick you. Please, let us be rational about this. Langzi says! Just go already! Yes, sir! Shifu? Yeah? I'm really sorry, sir, but I'm unable to convince the ambassador. I was unable to obtain permission for us to examine the Primedu statue. I see. Wait, but then the investigation is at a standstill. Agent Lang, I'll go and speak with the ambassador personally. Save your breath. You may act all weak and frail, but that old man's one tough cookie. But I guess you gotta be tough when you're representing a whole country, you know? Agent Lang. What do you want? Let's just hurry up and examine the statue already. But Shifu, what about causing an international incident? Quiet! I'll take the fall if I have to later.
Hold it.
Agent Lang, the hypothesis is mine, so if someone has to take the responsibility, let it be me. Responsibility? We're gonna talk in such heavy terms, maybe I should let you. It'd be a real problem for my men if something were to happen to me. Alright then, less talk and more investigating. If we want to know the truth, we can't stop here. Action must be taken. Agent Lang, I'd like to run a chemiluminescence test on the statue. Luminol test? Ah, good thinking. If the statue is the murder weapon, then some of the victim's blood should be on it. Okay, let's get the forensics team in here. Looks like you hit the jackpot, Miss Prosecutor. I guess this means that this is the real murder weapon that killed Damas II. Indeed. But I wouldn't celebrate it if I were you. This doesn't let your friend off the hook. It just doesn't prove that he didn't kill Master Mask, so the charge remains. We're hardly done examining this statue, Agent Lang. Knowing that it is the real murder weapon, I believe further examination is required. Heh, you think so? Alright then, knock yourself out. Really does look like the Steel Samurai. Upon closer inspection, he does look a lot like the Steel Samurai. Maybe that's why they chose to be the Goodwill Ambassador? I actually can't discredit the hypothesis. Or maybe the people of this embassy just really like the Steel Samurai. That's absolutely preposterous. I don't think it's that unlikely. We mustn't go around denouncing people's opinions. And yet, look at how easily you discredited mine. That's not that I care why they chose him. So there was some blood on the top. Were there any on the bottom? What do we have here? This dirty smudge. Looks like a handprint? What a definitive bit of evidence like you doing under here. Looks like we got some fingerprints to analyze. Worst case scenario, these prints belong to Larry. But it looks like it's too late for me to do anything about it now. Forensics guy! I want results of these fingerprints ASAP, you hear me? Agent Lang, I have the analysis results here, sir. Good, and? Sir, about the prints we lifted from the bottom of the statue. Well, you know the victim of the murder in the Ablaze embassy? The prints belong to him, to Mr. Manny Cochin, sir. But that's... What is going on around here? No, that's impossible. Each Penmanship statue can only be handled by someone of that country. But by the very fact that Mr. Cochin's fingerprints are on this one, it leads me to only one conclusion. This statue is actually Babal's Penmanship statue. Impossible! It can't be! Yeah. Larry never once stepped foot in the Ablaze soil, so he was free to go. However, this new piece of information only served to confuse us even further. The ringleader of the smuggling operation was killed with an alabastrian knife in Babal, and Damas II was killed on Alabast soil in the Babal's national treasure. And the mystery of the great thief Yatagarasu, who visited both countries. The pieces were there, but I'd yet to see the big picture they were to form. That was a bit of a doozy, and it's going to just speed up from here. The Miles Edgeworth Investigations. This is Luigi Van 64D. See you next time.